nothing left to lose now. Everything to prove now. Long as I'm alive, I'ma fight back. My fire never cools down. I'm about to catch fire. Yeah, I'm about to catch fire. Get ready for the new me. Get ready for the new me. Try to hold me down and I go wild. Try to put me out and I go wild. I'm a fighter, a survivor. Stand back while I catch fire.
Welcome back to beautiful Ballito on the east coast of South Africa. The eyes of the surfing world in this region now for the next few weeks. And well, as we greet you from the beautiful, beautiful afternoon light of Ballito, it's been a big day of competition, and welcome to the post show. Gig Saliers alongside Brad Bricknell. Welcome back, Brad. Got going early this morning at 7 a.m. A lot to break down and a lot to talk through, but we are making progress through both men's and women's draws here at the third challenger stop on the series.
Yeah, we've managed to whittle down the field even more after a big day, albeit with a big break in between gigs. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, in a minute with that location change. But yeah, we made the most of the conditions on offer up until that high tide, and then an inspired move by Travis Logie from Tours and Competition to move over to the secondary location.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy call to make this morning, Brad. We had that high tide at around 10:40, and we got a couple of heats rolling at the main break of surfers dead in front of the judges panel, and then we got into that little sticky zone where we had to buy about 25 minutes to relocate the surfers. In the end, though, Brad, it turned out to be a good call because through the high, we kept the consistency of the scores coming. And then between both men's and women's, we've made progress on both sides of the draw.
Yeah, absolutely right. And, you know, even hearing some of the chatter in the surface area, there was a lot of agreement and excitement with that call. And I think it definitely paid off. As you said, you know, we got through the high tide, but then later on in the day, on that lower tide, we saw some inspired performances as well. So I think it was a great move all around. A bit of adjustment had to get made by some of the surfers, particularly Macy Callaghan, who was one of the first ones to surf on the new break. And so a bit of adjustment there. But these are pro surfers, they're looking for a spot on their championship tour, so they know how to roll.
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, we got competition going again after that little pause of action. And, you know, we had women's round of 32 to get through. We narrowed it down to the last two heats. As we saw, we already into person-on-person, man-on-man format, which we always like to emulate as far as the championship tour draw goes.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, starting those 4-man heats, we've got a bigger field, so we can't run those person-person, man-on-man heats from round one. So start with 96 on the men, 64 on the women, and now we're down to the final 16 in the men's, and we even saw 2 quarterfinal spots being booked by the ladies late this afternoon. So Bronte McCauley and Zoe McDoodle have a night off. They leapfrog around, so to speak, and the rest of them will have to surf that round of 16 tomorrow.
Well, of course, we are on the edge of the weekend start here. It is late Friday, having a look at local time now, 4:30. So about an hour of light left. The surfers will be out there sort of just seeing what they can pick and find. But a lot of strong word and reports of swell coming up the coast already. The Southern Cape already some overhead swell at play. A lot of west in the swell direction. So obviously we will anticipate it arriving here, Brad, as early, we're hoping, as mid-morning tomorrow. It's J-Bay for now, still around 3 foot, and we'll start wrapping up today here with the anticipation and the positive outlook to a big weekend. Of course, we have until Sunday evening here to crown champions on both sides of the draw.
Yeah, it's absolutely set up now for a prime weekend here at Ballito. We're going to see some big crowds in if last weekend's got anything to go by. And we know, yes, that swell is due to increase from tomorrow. We're going to get some onshore winds with it, but, you know, we're going to roll with that. We prefer to have the swell with the onshore wind than rather no swell and prime conditions. So we'll keep an eye on that direction of that swell. Sometimes those westerly swells can go past a little bit, so fingers crossed we'll have some bend in it, and we'll wake up to some good conditions tomorrow morning.
Essentially, that northeast didn't blow too hard. I mean, it was basically, you could describe it as a sea breeze for most of the day. So, you know, hats off again to Travis Logie for, it was disruptive. We got the surfers asking, hey, what's going on? We did a dead pause. I remember you had to pad your way through that for about 25 minutes. But the fact of the matter is it's given us content and value to today, and it really tees us up for picking the eyes out of the weekend.
Yeah, you know what? This is how it has to roll when you've got conditions like we've had to play with. Even speaking to contest director John Hutchison's been around here for a long time, and we've just got a little bit unlucky with what we've had and what he's even seen as a pattern here through the winter. You know, we normally get those northwesterly winds and those groom swells from down south. We've just had a little bit of unlucky run over the last 2 or 3 days, but it is super exciting how we are geared up now and set up for this final weekend. The field's whittled right down, so there are going to be some amazing matchups, and we've seen a lot of them today.
Yeah, absolutely. We managed to get the women's down to the round of 16. In fact, 2 person-on-person heats. That last one, winner Zoe McDougall. She got rid of Teresa Bonvalot, winner from Sydney. Let's go down and hear from her.
I'm here with Zoe, winner of the last heat. Zoe, I don't think we can go into too much detail in terms of the waves out there. It looked super tough, but you got the job done, and sometimes heat wins are not pretty.
Yeah, definitely not the best conditions, but I've seen Ballito like this before, and it's always fun. You can still find the pockets, and you just have to make it fun. But yeah, I'm really stoked to make it through that one and get Teresa back because she got me in Manly, so little redemption from that one.
Talk us through a little bit about your past experiences in South Africa. You've had some heat wins, you've had some event wins in South Africa. How do you draw on that past experience going into this weekend now? Saturday and Sunday, we're at the sharp end of the event, the big points, big prize money, and on our way to the finals.
Yeah, I've come to South Africa a lot as a junior to compete. Callaghan and WSL South Africa put on such a great series of events for their juniors and QS competitors. So I came over here for a number of years and competed in those, and it's a great series and such a wave-rich area, and got to see the country quite a bit and learn these waves and just be in South Africa, which is lovely. So yeah, just continuing those good vibes and experiences past and what I've learned here, and just bringing it all into the next couple finals day, not finals day, I don't know.
We're going to the next rounds tomorrow, and then we should run finals day on Sunday. But good luck for the rest of the event. We hope to see you on the podium on Sunday. Back to you guys.
Well, thanks, Mike. Great to hear from Zoe McDougall. We referenced it a couple of times in the call, Brad, over the heats. Zoe McDougall, 2017, 2018, 2019 came and did a lot of what we had at that stage called the City Surf Series, of course, developing, the entire coastline as far as WSL participation goes. And, well, Zoe fetched some great results there. The other thing that she fetches as a result is the worst she can do now is 5th.
Yeah, and exactly right. So when you've got 5 events, counting your top 5 events out of the 8, and only taking 5 women into that championship tour, 5th place is probably the very least you want to be aiming for. So for her, this is a really good start, and now she needs to try and convert that into an even better result.
Of course, South African fans woke up this morning with 4 surfers in the draw of the Ballito Pro, 2 on the women's side, 2 on the men's. We did get to lose both Zoe Steyn and Sarah Baum out of the draw. So no South Africans to cheer for. But on the flip side of the coin, we also woke up with Slade Prestwich, who did fall out. And then, well, the story of Luke Thompson, Brad.
I think it's the story of the day. It's, potentially the story of the event, seeing this young 18-year-old, just how he carries himself in and out of the water. He's come into this event courtesy of a second place, a runner-up slot in those trials, and now he's found himself in the round of 16 and also the highest-ranked South African on the championship, on the Challenger Series, rather, at this point in time.
Well, Brad, you got to call the seat, and it was through the outgoing tide. He was really blasting the lip and, letting go of a lot of power in the lineup.
Yes, this is a 717 that he got, and you can see he's got everything, this kid. He's got speed, he's got power, and then he's got the air game as well. So we also had the opportunity to share some amazing news with him today around that wild card. And of course, he's gained a lot more fans here in South Africa. And certainly, if you didn't know about who he was internationally, you do now. Well,
off the back of this heat win here, Brad, Tours and competition hadn't announced it just yet, and you called him in as a special guest to the studio, and then, well, Brad, you broke the news to him. You didn't quite get tears out of him, but we watched the look on his face. Young Luke Thompson, the great news for South African surf fans, a slot in the up-and-coming Corona Open J-Bay for the young Durban surfer.
Yeah, I mean, that was a highlight of my career, been able to share that news with Luke. We got word, with that result, he got a minimum of, I think it was 3,320 points for that 9th place that he's in right now. And that was enough to put him on top of that ranking situation as far as a South African surfer on the Challenger Series is concerned. And as soon as Travis Logie saw that happen, he made the call, and we jumped on the opportunity to share that live with Luke. So to see that that reaction from him here in the booth and how much it meant for him, it took him a good 5 minutes to kind of process the whole thing. Is like he kept saying, I can't believe it, and he's talking about ordering boards, calling his mum, calling his coach, and I told him, well, he's still got the job to be done over here. It's not over in Ballito, but what an opportunity for that young man coming up next week.
Well, that puts 4 South Africans in the men's draw for the up-and-coming Corona Open J-Bay next week. Of course, Luke Thompson, the news announced, and well, he'll join Jose Falconer, the local J-Bay surfer, the goofy footer. That's a huge story in itself, and of course we'll probably visit that a couple of more times before J-Bay gets going Tuesday next week, July 12th. And Brad, of course, Matt McGillivray, that's going to be an interesting story to tell as well. And of course, Geordie Smith, we know his pedigree at the break.
Yeah, exactly right. It'll give the fans down there something to cheer for. We love the J-Bay atmosphere. They've got the big grandstand set up there. I've seen some vision of the event site coming together. We're all jumping on planes on Monday to get down there and watch the spectacle, and I think something going to be really special. We saw how the Ballito Bay fans embrace pro surfing. I think wait until you see what happens in J-Bay, it's going to be very big.
Well, one of the highest heat totals today came from an Australian in the form of Macy Callaghan. I think you were on the call for that one as well, Brad. Strong surfing from the experience. And, a couple of big cracks and a massive heat total. Yeah,
she was excited about moving over because she loves surfing on her backhand. She made reference to that in her post-heat interview, and she laid down a big heat score of over 14 points, really honing in that backhand surfing from Avoca on the Central Coast. And you can see she just loves getting this rail wet on the water, and a lot of power and style to throw in the mix as well.
It was an interesting day, Brad, because power surfing still ruled 2-turn combos, big hits out of the lip. And, well, I've certainly, there were moments of progression through today's unfolding. But power surfing, you couldn't argue it, and it served Macy Callaghan really well there.
Yeah, exactly right. And that bank served her well too. She was one of the few surfers to find those 3-turn combinations, and she drew on all the championship tour experience to book a place in this round of 16. So looking forward to see how she progresses tomorrow. And she's certainly one of those ones you want to keep your eye on from an event champion threat point of view.
Well, we've established quarterfinalists in the form of Bronte McCauley and now Zoe McDougall. When we come back to competition, of course, we'll pick up on the remaining round of 16 heats. We got Heat 3 coming up next. Vienna Ferro taking on Elisa Spencer. Another action-packed one when we get the call, Brad.
Yeah, exactly right. It's perfectly poised now. You know, these man-on-man heats and the person-on-person heats. The strategies start to change. You know, you've got no one else to worry about in the water aside from one surfer. We spoke to Luke Thompson about that. He goes, "Yep, normally you're worrying about a few other surfers in the heat. Now you got one person to beat." So the strategy does get adjusted slightly, and I think with more opportunities as far as the surf's concerned tomorrow, it should line up for a fantastic day of surfing.
Well, it's the rounds before the quarterfinals on both men's and women's side. We're not sure what we're assuming we'll pick up with women's competition. We'll only get that call at around 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. But Brad, any last thoughts as we wrap up a pretty big day? We've worked the field down, and we'll still tell a storyline here. Let's have a look at what else is coming up. There's more action coming our way. The round of 16 Heat 7. That was something to look at as well.
Yeah, well, we've got a big matchup tomorrow. We've got the world number 1 against the world number 2 on the Women's Challenger Series side. So it's the youngster out of California, Caity Simmers, up against the former CT surfer, Nikki Van Dyke as well. So that's going to be a massive matchup tomorrow. And this is what we're going to have a look at. This is Caity Simmers on her backhander. She did turn down a slot on the championship tour. A la Taj Burrow many years ago, we asked her what the thought process was behind that, and she just wanted to stay at home a little bit longer and really hone her surfing. She wanted to make sure she was 100% ready from a physical point of view, a mental point of view, and we can see now her surfing is right up there. It's world class. She's number 1 on the rankings, and she's going to come up against none other than Nikki Van Dyke, who has a ton of experience in the space already.
Well, of course, and Nikki Van Dyke has found very big scores in the lineup already. Let's just have a look at these waves as they unfold. And, well, massive hit out of the lip there for our surfer, Caity Simmers.
Yeah, Nikki's been on a bit of a roll lately. She's finaled on this Challenger Series already. In fact, both surfers are holding on to 2 fifth places. The only difference in the points is that Nikki's got a second and Caitlin's got a first. And here's some of the form that Nikki's been showing early on in the Australian leg. A lot of power in that surfing. Beautiful layback hack there from the surfer from South Australia. So, yeah, this is going to be a really tantalizing matchup tomorrow. It's youth against the experience. It's 1 against number 2, and it doesn't get much better as far as the matchup's concerned.
Well, it's Friday evening here, of course, the weekend upon us. We keep looking at what swell is in the water, and, well, a lot of strong discussion that there is energy moving up. We did mention as we got the show going, Brad, but confirmations that there is some strong energy already, as we mentioned, in the Southern Cape, Victoria Bay, the little... it's a place where Zoe McDougall's competed many times, and we'll reference that. That bay already closing out, J Bay around 3 to 4 foot now as we move towards the end of the day, and we do speculate that that swell will get all the way up here by as soon as mid-morning tomorrow. So it'll be an interesting call when we get to first light tomorrow morning, Brad. But by the time we crown champion Sunday afternoon, we've got a feeling that the surf's going to be well in the overhead range.
Yeah, I think the forecast is looking solid for finals day. The one thing that we have to factor in tomorrow is the threat of that strong northeasterly flow as far as the wind's concerned. But I don't think, if we've got swell in the water, we're not going to be too concerned about that onshore flow. It'll provide a couple of ramps for our surfers to go to the air. And then Sunday is going to be fun. The winds are going to be pretty light. The weather's going to be good. So it's all sort of pointing towards a big finish here at Ballito Bay.
It's been a useful day here through Friday. Let's go and have a look at our top 5 scoring waves individually that took place here this afternoon. And, well, Reo Waida amongst that discussion there, Brad.
Yeah, he's an electrifying surfer from Indonesia, just to get so much pop and spring out of his turns. And he had a real aerial off here with Mateus Herdy today. This is one of the scores that he bagged, a 7.27 for this really clean executed air reverse.
Well, showing why he has already got a win at the Challenger Series level. Of course, this is the
7.3 gigs there for Macy Callaghan. She found this little runner that tapered all the way down the beach, had nice pace and flow to it, and locked in one of the first 3-turn combinations that we saw all day, and that certainly got the judges excited for that 7.30.
No perfect waves in the lineup, but certainly high-level waves. Let's have another look at this 7.33.
Yeah, this is one that she backed up. I think this might have been the 7.5, the 7.33, the one before. You can see getting a little bit more aggressive on that second turn, which enabled her to meet the oncoming section for that final turn here. And that was a really classic display of kind of surfing by Macy Callaghan.
And what about the American that got really progressive on us? Full pop shove it with the rotation to goofy foot completion. Yeah, we all love that one.
This guy is incredibly technical in his air. He's got that varial down, and I always get nervous watching him surf because you never know what he's going to pull out and what you're going to call it.
Well, a 7.5 for Eithan Osborne. Let's have a look at the highest individual wave. Bettylou Sakura Johnson showing her pedigree, Brad.
Yes, this was a time in the morning where the surf sort of slowed down a bit, and she managed to pull out a 7.83 on this one. A little inside runner that stood up nicely. You can see the pop and the spring out of those first 2 turns, kicking up a lot of spray, and the bonus here is that third turn to nail down that combination. So impressive surfing there from the young surfer from Hawaii.
All in all, a day that has allowed us to whittle the fields down to just before the quarterfinal rounds for both men and women. We will return to competition for a fresh call tomorrow morning. Brad, any thoughts to sign it off? A big Friday in the day of surfing in Ballito. And, well, highs and lows for the South African fans. We lost a huge chunk of the South African participants, but that great news again, Luke Thompson.
Yeah, for me, that's certainly one of the highlights of the day. It's going to be one of the highlights of the event for mine. I think great call from Travis Logie this morning. We got through all the heats that we wanted to today, despite that change in location. So now we are perfectly poised for the final weekend. And Luke Thompson's carrying the weight of the South African surf fans on his young 18-year-old shoulders. But I think he's doing a great job, and all the best to him tomorrow. And looking forward to calling more heats in the morning.
Well, thanks, Brad. You've had a great input to the day. And, of course, to all of you fans, thank you. We trust that you've enjoyed the show with us. We'll sign it out for now. We'll be back for a fresh call tomorrow morning from beautiful Ballito in South Africa. It is the World Surf League's Challenger Series.
Aiden Mason Camp looking for section. Takes left, drops down into another big one.